Hello, welcome to the 3D market commentary today. Today is Thursday, I believe, April the 7th. So welcome to our video today. Now, I'm just going to put the disclaimers up here on the screen, just so those of you that want to read them can read them. Please do, even if you need to pause the video to read them. It's a good idea to get an understanding of what you can expect from these kind of videos. Now, we do this video, this 3D market commentary, to accompany an email that we send out to our free users every day, Monday to Friday. That email has information in on major world markets, looking at three major elements, hence 3D market commentary. So we look at three separate elements per market, and then we do a video to expand on that, give you a little bit more context, and explain where those statistics lie in those different elements. So we'll look at that in a second. Before we do so, just to show you where you can go if you have questions or if you feel like you need any help or support. So there is Becky at tradewithufos.com. That's my email address, and you can email me on that. Then we have support at tradewithufos.com. So again, you can email those guys if you have any questions. There's then this link that you can go to, which is tradewithufos.com/Becky. Now let me bring that up for you. So if you go to that, you'll come to this. At the top of this page, you have different places that you can get apps and platforms. If you scroll down, then you can book one-on-one coaching with me if you'd like. And if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that you can log in here for free and post a question in this public area. Now, you might find that somebody else has already asked a question that you have, and therefore the answer is already there. So if you scroll down and you can go through the different pages, you may very well find the answer to your question there anyway. So different places you can go depending on the support that you need, email addresses, and then this link here that should hopefully help you with a variety of different things. Okay, so coming back to our 3D market commentary. So we send an email every day, which is what we have here on the left-hand side, to our free members. Strange, give me a sec. There you go. And it shows the three major statistical elements per market that we want to know about as traders, because it gives us an idea of what we really should be doing, how we should be behaving in the markets. So those three elements highlighted here. First is market climate. Now, what market climate is essentially what's the likely upcoming market direction? What's the probability that that market moves up, that it moves down, that it doesn't go anywhere? So we want to know what those probabilities are. Now, we use an app called AutoClimate, and with this app we can see these different dots, different colors, different lines down here. Ignore the lines, focus on the dots. What this app does is basically tell us where those probabilities lie. If we have a thick blue dot, like one of these, that tells us probabilities upwards. If we had a thick red dot, I've lost my mouse here, where am I? There it is. I like that again, my mouse is being strange. Here we go, a thick red dot there tells us probability is downwards. And a thin dot of either colour tells us probability is in either direction. So we'll look at that per market to understand where that market is likely to move to, up, down or nowhere. Then we want to understand where do we have buyers and sellers that could stop that? Where do we have buyers and sellers that could change the direction of price? We call these buy and sell UFOs. UFO stands for unfilled orders in this context. So again, we use an app. It's called the Auto UFOs app. And we look for these little green UFOs with the prices on the right-hand side. Those show us where the buyers are, that we would expect if price were to hit those buyers, for the buyers to push price up. We look for the little red UFOs with the prices on the right-hand side. Those show us where the sellers are and where we might expect that if price were to hit those, they would be pushed down. So we're going to look at those per market, buyers and sellers in each market that could push price up or down. And then we'll look at market volatility, which is how quickly we expect these markets to move. So starting with the S&P 500, which is the top 5. So different things happen on different. What we're looking at here is relevant to a daily time of these markets. Okay. I'm going to squish it out a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. S&P 500, top 500 US, has probability downwards, a thick red dot. Now we have buyers here between 4406.75 to 4320.2. That if price were to hit those buyers, we would expect them to push price up. But we've got a little bit of room before we get there. We have sellers up here. Those are between 4606 to 4574.75. They've already worked to push price down once. Price came in a few days ago, hit those sellers and was pushed down from there. That's what we expect sellers to do, is push price down. That's why we want to know where they are. Now, price is here kind of in between these buyers and sellers. Still have room for price to move down based on the auto climate, the probabilities that were being showed there. So overall, probability to the downside for the time being with the S&P 500 on a daily chart. Now, when it comes to volatility, we expect that the S&P would move up or down in 1 year by 21.26%. So in a day, that is 61.53 points up or down. In a week, 135.46 points up or down. And in a month, 281.98 points up or down. So that's the S&P 500. Now the next market is crude oil. So let's load this. Now just to point your attention here as well to the different courses that we offer. If you feel like you need help in understanding how to apply our methodology to futures, stocks or Forex, or you want to understand more about building a trade plan, backtesting it, trading psychology, we do courses in all of those things. Now they're very reasonably priced. Most of them come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps that we use. Now Auto Climate, which is this one here, this is a free app on most platforms that you can use it on anyway. But Auto UFOs, which is the one that shows us the buyers or the sellers and the buyers, the Auto UFOs app is a paid for monthly subscription, which depends on which platform you use as to how much it costs. It's something that you can subscribe to directly. So you can subscribe directly to just use the Auto UFOs. You don't have to do a course in order to use them. You can just subscribe directly. Now, most of the time, it's cheaper to do a course and get 3 months free access to the apps than it is to simply just use the apps for 3 months. So check that out, see what works better for you financially and however else you want to look at it. Okay, so crude oil, thick red dot, probability downwards. However, we are within buyers right now. Those buyers are between 99.22 to 93.53. And we also have sellers very close by between 105.59 to 99.88. So what we have is we have buyers here currently pushing price up. Price has gone up since it's hit these buyers. We have the climate pushing price down, and very close to us, we also have sellers pushing price down. So essentially, we've got buyers and sellers fighting each other right now. Buyers pushing up, sellers pushing down. Who's going to win? No idea. No one knows. It would be a guess at this point to guess. We don't have clear probabilities one or the other because the buyers and sellers are close by, because we are within buyers whilst we have probability down. So overall, not clear either direction, so we don't do anything. No point trading if we don't have clear probabilities in one direction or the other. In terms of market volatility, we'd expect that oil would go up or down in 1 year by 53.15%. So in a day, 3.28 points, in a week, 7.22 points, and in a month, 15.02 points. So again, that's movement we expect up or down within those time periods. Okay, the next market, which is gold. So let's load that. Just to highlight here about the coaching and support that we offer. Now, we do a lot of coaching and support for free on YouTube. You can email us. We've got our links that you can go to for resources. We do a lot for free. We also have a closed coaching community, which is a small monthly fee to get access to live trading videos and extra resources. So check that out if you think it's helpful. Otherwise, hopefully you know where to go for all of the free help that we put out there into the world. Okay, I'm just going to squish price here so we can see our buyers and sellers properly. With gold, we have a thin dot. Doesn't matter the color. The fact that it's a thin dot is Autoclimate app's way of telling us there's not enough probability either way. So there's no point doing anything. We don't want to trade if we don't have clear probabilities. And for the time being, we don't. Now, we do have sellers close by between 2015.1 to 1960.6. We've got quite a ways to go before we hit the closest buyers down here at 1815.8 to 1788.5. So if we were to hit these sellers, we would expect them to push price down, like they've already done already. Price came in last week and was pushed down from there. We expect sellers to push price down. That's why we want to know where they are. But we're not that close to them today. Unlikely that they're going to affect the markets today. So overall, we simply have a lack of direction, a lack of probability in either direction at the moment. So in terms of volatility with gold, we'd expect movement up or down in a year of 18.88%. So in a day, 22.96 points. In a week, 50.54 points. And in a month, 105.21 points. So that's gold. Okay. So the next market is the US dollar. Now, the US dollar is responsible for about 80% of transactions worldwide every day. So be aware of it. Whether you trade it or not, it will most likely impact the markets you do trade. So with the US dollar, we have thick blue dot probability upwards. Now, as we see here, we also have buyers that we've hit a few times and that have pushed price up. So they are between 97.85 to 97.295. And we see here a few weeks ago, price came in, hit the buyers, pushed back up. Came back a few days later, hit the buyers, pushed back up. Came back a few days later or a week later, hit the buyers, pushed back up. That's why we want to know where the buyers are, because they push price up. And it gives us an idea of where we would be wanting to buy. Wouldn't it have been great to buy here and buy here and buy here and be profiting off of the move to the upside? That's why we want to know where the buyers are. So we've got probability to the upside, buyers beneath us. We are coming up for some sellers. They are between 100.605 to 100.095. So once we hit these sellers, we would expect that they would at least slow the upward trajectory, perhaps even push price back down significantly. So be aware of those sellers in the way. For the time being, we've still got a little bit of room there. Overall probability to the upside with the US dollar. In terms of market volatility, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year by 9.55%. So in a day, that's 0.6 points up or down. In a week is 1.32 points up or down. And in a month is 2.75 points up or down. So that's the US dollar. Now the last market, last but not least, is backed Bitcoin. There we are. Now just to point down here about being a top trader, top is our platform. It's our proprietary platform. It stands for Predictive Options Planner. So if you're an options trader, it's especially helpful because it has all of our apps integrated into it, as well as exclusive options apps that help you with your options trading. If you're not an options trader and you trade stocks, forex, futures, maybe cryptos, Top can be a great platform to use for analysis purposes. That's what I personally use it for. I trade stocks, futures, and forex, and I use Top for analysis purposes because it's got all of the apps integrated. So check that out as well if you'd like to. Okay, so back to Bitcoin. Thin dot. Not enough probability either way. Do nothing. Now we have buyers here that might change things. They are between 42,705 to 41,832.5. So if price were to hit them, we would expect, let me come back over here. So if price were to hit them, we would expect them to push price back up. Now we also have sellers reasonably close. They are here between 47,317.5 to 44,345. Now current price is here. So kind of between them, it is likely that we hit either sellers or buyers today. So be aware. If we hit sellers, we'd expect them to push price down. If we hit buyers, we would expect them to push price up. But overall, for the time being, not enough probability in either direction because our climate is undecided. In terms of volatility with Bitcoin, we'd expect a yearly move of 6.48%. So in a day, 1,763.83 points. In a week, 3,882.9 points. And in a month, 8,082.9 points. Again, movement up or down. So for each of our markets, we've looked at market climate, using auto climate to understand where we have probabilities, up, down, or nowhere. We've looked at buy and sell UFOs. Where do we have buyers that could push price up? Where do we have sellers that could push price down? And we've looked at market volatility, just how quickly we expect the markets to move. The last thing to look at is our weekly economic calendar, which we get from fxstreet.com, and we filter by high impact news because we want to know which scheduled news reports are coming out could have a high impact on the markets that we trade and create volatility. So today being Thursday, April 7th, we already had news that came out early hours of this morning in the States, so Eastern time, 5 a.m. We had news that came out that could have affected European markets and the euro, and we don't have anything until tomorrow morning, and we'll look at that tomorrow. So any questions, please go to tradewithufos.com/Becky. You can get apps and platforms from here. You can book one-on-one coaching if you'd like. If you scroll down, you can log in for free and ask questions here, or you might find the answer to your question already there. Or of course, you can email me. So different places to go depending on which help you need. But we will be back for our market commentary tomorrow morning. My colleague Bojan will be taking that, and I will see you next week. If you need anything, please get in touch. Otherwise, have a great end to your trading week and see you soon.